Here are 4 sales that you have to make in your marketing if you want more of your ideal clients to book a sales call with you or to buy into your product or service. Now, if you haven't noticed, information is a freaking commodity. It is insane. And so if you are out there right now and you're posting content, you're doing stuff. Maybe you're running ads, you're doing outreach. It's like you're doing activity, but it's scattered and you're not getting the amount of sales calls or you're not getting the amount of qualified leads that you want. Because we're in an era where it's relatively easy to get attention. You can boost a reel on Instagram, you can run some ads, you can dance on TikTok, and you can get attention. But is it the right attention? And are you getting enough of the qualified attention, the qualified people, onto sales calls or into your program or into your service? And if the answer is no, I'm going to walk you through 4 sales that if you make them in your marketing, I'm telling you right now with complete certainty that you will get more of your existing audience to say, hey, tell me about your stuff. And so without further ado, let's dive into them. The first is selling a new belief. You're going to want to write this down. This is bar none the most important one. Technically, number 1 and number 4, you got to have both. Well, you really have to have all of them if I'm thinking about it. But if I had to rate in a scale of importance, number 1 and 4. So the first one, the new belief, is are you selling a new belief to your audience? So think about this right now, pun intended. People right now have certain beliefs that they believe to be true, and that is causing them to take certain actions, right? It's perpetuating certain thoughts, which make them take certain actions. And so if you are not changing the way they think, if you're not helping to plant new beliefs, that those seeds inside of their mind, they're not going to take action. And here's a really simple example in weight loss. Let's imagine you're helping people lose weight. That's what you do. Somebody might think that my genetics is screwed up. I'm never going to be able to lose weight. Or they might believe that they need to cut out all of their carbs and they just need to diet down like freaking crazy to be able to get to their goals. And if you're over here saying, this is just a lot of people in the weight loss space say, you can eat whatever you want. You can have burgers and pizza and all of that stuff, right? Or it's not your genetics, it's this. They're not going to believe you. They may want to believe you. They may see other people doing it, but they have this belief, so they are not going to actually take action. So when we can get them to believe a new belief, for example, back in my fitness business, when I was running my fitness company, I got people to believe that they needed to eat right, not just healthy. Because everybody in my audience believed that if they just ate healthy, they would suddenly lose the weight. Or they believed that their genetics were screwed up, so it might not work for them. And so when I got them to believe these 2 different beliefs, the first one is that the reason you're not losing the fat they wanted was because they were eating healthy, but way under eating, and they needed to eat right. They had to dial in their calories, their macronutrients, all of that stuff. And then to counteract the genetics belief, everybody was like, I have a slow metabolism now. It's my genetics. And I was like, no, your metabolism is just screwed up. We just gotta optimize it. And when you can manipulate the metabolism, you can start to lose your stubborn belly fat. And then I showed them how to do that through our metabolic. We're going to get into this in a second, through our unique solution, which is our training method and our nutrition method. So sell a new belief. What is that new belief for you? Because if you can nail this and you know how to communicate this in your audience by telling stories, by demonstrating, by giving proof, it's going to make people far more likely to reach out to you because you are changing the way they think, you are changing the way they act, and you're giving them hope so they are more likely to take action. So that's number 1, sell a new belief. The second sale is to sell a new identity. People will move mountains to become somebody they want to be. So imagine, again, going back to the weight loss example, you're helping moms. And right now they don't feel super inspired. They feel out of shape. They've got young kids that they're raising. And they're just like, man, I don't feel good. But maybe their new identity goes from this struggling, kind of unconfident mom to feeling like a super mom, a superhero. They're in shape. They're taking care of their kids. They're being the role model and the example. You want to sell into that new identity that they already want. Does that make sense? And so in my business now, a lot of coaches want to be that respected, recognized authority within their niche. They don't need to be like Insta famous. They just want to be recognized and respected for their craft, for helping people in whether it's health and fitness and relationships. They want to become that recognized authority. They want to become that respected authority. They want to have stable income. And this is what happens when you become sought after, when you can become what I call a micro celebrity in your niche, that you have a lot of attention from a small audience. And so I will sell into the idea that when you take these certain actions, when you do these certain things, you will become this in-demand coach, this sought-after coach. And so what is that for you? What is that new identity that you could sell into your audience? And again, you demonstrate it. Like, you be the one that's leading it. It's going to be often the case. Or you have other clients that might have gone from the struggling avatar to the future-paced hero, that aspiring identity they want to be. So what is that for you? The third sale that you've got to make, done, is to sell a unique solution. Having some kind of unique solution, unique mechanism, or big idea are often thrown around words in the marketing world, are so imperative for you to be able to differentiate yourself in the marketplace, to stand out, right? Because you may get somebody to believe, okay, believe in the example, like, okay, I got to eat right, not just healthy. Totally get it. But how, right? They might even buy into, yes, I want to be that fit parent, right? I want to be that sought after, respected coach. Yes. But how? And if you're like, just eat healthier, just eat less, move more. If you don't have anything truly unique, if you don't have anything that's like your methodology, that's your way of doing things, people are going to be like, cool. And they might go somewhere else and hire somebody else because you set them up to believe what they need to believe, but you don't have anything unique for them. And so, well, you don't need to make up anything fancy or cute or clever or anything like that. You just want to name your methodology. You want to bring a big idea to the market. And so in my fitness business, I had what was called the stubborn fat solution. This is just my way of working out. So I had what was called metabolic intensity training, flex field nutrition, and then I had what I call inner sizes, working on your mind. And I just literally put a very simple name on it. And there is an art and a science to naming stuff. It's not the most important thing what the name is, so you don't want to overthink this, but you want to have a big idea. And so my big idea was the stubborn fat solution. I'm going to show you how to optimize your metabolism, how to eat right, how to work out right, and how to work your mind. And when we do these things, you're going to lose your stubborn belly fat. I was proof of it because I once had stubborn belly fat. I did my own methodology. That's how I came up with it. And I lost belly fat. I had plenty of clients. So I was able to sell that very easy. In my business now, I was struggling. I remember back in the day in 2019, I was going live, I was posting content, I was doing all of these different things. And I realized that when I had my messaging dialed in, that when I knew how to say the right words in the right way to the right people, and then I plugged that in to the right types of content, to the right type of marketing campaigns, it didn't matter if I posted organically, if I ran ads, if I did podcasts, if I did speaking events, I knew how to get more clients from the words that I was saying. And so I came up with my methodology of magic messaging. I have a whole framework around it. And I teach people how to be able to make their marketing generate more leads, book them more calls, all from the words that they use. So I have a methodology which stands out in the marketplace. So what is your big idea? What is your unique solution that you're bringing in? And then the fourth and final sale, and bar none, like I would rate this as one of the most important ones, is you've got to sell social proof. Now, you may be like, cool, I'll share before and afters, or I do screenshots. I think that's all well and fine, and you should totally do that. But I believe that we're in this era where so many people do that, and it sucks. I know, hopefully, I don't think you're one of them, but people will fake that crap. I remember back in the fitness days when I was in fitness, there would be brands that would reach out to me and to other people that I knew in the fitness space, I won't even say who the brands were, household names, but they would offer to buy their testimonials from them to be able to promote as their own. It's sad and it's very manipulative, but I think people have lost trust in that. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't do it, because you have you have integrity, and I think people really feel truth. But when you can demonstrate and really show the social proof and tell the stories, that's what really matters. So when you could tell an actual story of my client Mary, who came in and she was 30 pounds overweight, she had belly fat that she couldn't figure out how to get rid of, and you could tell the story of how she transformed. What was it like for her? Maybe even do a case study with her where you're freaking interviewing, right? That is much more powerful for you to sell the social proof, because you are demonstrating, you are showing the journey, versus the before and after. It's great, but it's I don't want to say it's commoditized, but it doesn't show the journey. Does that make sense? It's, unless you're really good in telling the story in like however you're communicating it in an email and a post, it doesn't tell the full story. And I think that's what truly sells it, is when you could sell, hey, this is what happened to Mary in the first 30 days. Mary lost 5 pounds and she started feeling more confident. She started getting stronger. She got consistent for the first time in years. And then 60 days in, she was down 15 pounds. She was feeling absolutely amazing. She was actually able to fit into an old pair of jeans that she hadn't been able to fit into for 6 years. And then about 3 months in, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you're painting the picture. This starts to sell, like where somebody's like, oh, I think I could do that too. Does that make sense? It's like you see it in the business space, right? And I'm guilty of promoting this stuff too. And like I try to do my best to show the journey now to the best of my ability. Obviously, we're all coaches, creators, marketers. We're trying to like get people into our programs. But if I'm just like, hey, my client Leo came in and within 90 days, he went from making around $5,000 a month to $33,000 in a month. It's like, whoa. It's not so far stretched that it's not believable, because that's actually what happened with that particular client. But the actual journey was in the first 30 days, he went from bouncing between 5 and 10K a month to doing 16,000 and change, right? The next month he did $26,000. The next month he did $33,000. And here's what he did. So it's like I can break it down and I can walk people through it. And now they're like, oh, okay. So that feels more doable. I think I can do that with the right guidance and the right systems, right? And so when you tie all of these things together, these 4 different sales, you sell people on a new belief, right? Think and Grow Rich. The whole paradigm around what people believe perpetuates their thinking, perpetuates their feelings and their actions, which is what gets them the results, right? So when you change what they believe, it changes what they think is possible, which allows them to take more action on your content, on your call to actions, on all of that stuff, right? You sell a new identity. People will move mountains to be able to get to their identity. So when you're selling people into some type of aspirational identity that they want so freaking bad, right? They will freaking do whatever it takes. When you sell people into a unique solution, now they're like, cool. It gives them hope. It's a different approach to doing things. And all you have to do is just name your methodology, come up with a big idea that you could talk about. And then the 4th is selling the social proof, really demonstrating and walking people through the journey versus just showing the standard screenshots or before and after. So if you make those 4 sales, I'm telling you right now, from my experience and from helping lots of other people with this, you will be able to book more sales calls. You'll get way more people reaching out to you as inbound leads, and it'll inevitably make people already want to buy into your program because they believe it's possible. They believe in what you're doing. They're bought into your unique solution, and they've seen other people can do it too. So hope this helps. Get out there and crush it. Make money. Change lives. Let's do this. Bye for now.